Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to be putting on my newsman fedora, trying to relay some information to you guys that I don't entirely understand, because what do I know? I'm just a YouTuber, but this affects Call of Duty, this affects the entire games industry, and it's pretty interesting news. So, a while ago, it was announced that Microsoft is going to attempt to acquire Activision, and it's not just Activision, it's Activision Blizzard King. As you can see from this infograph, we're talking about not only like the entire COD series, but Overwatch, Diablo, WoW, Candy Crush, StarCraft, like all those studios, all those games, everything would be owned by Microsoft. And there's a lot of stuff happening because people are trying to say that would make them a monopoly. That would be far too powerful. PlayStation's against it. Google is voicing their concerns over it. And the European Union Regulatory Group has started their investigation, and they say they're going to provide us with an update on November 8th, 2022. So PlayStation CEO Jim Ryan has been very outspoken about the deal. He's very upset that Microsoft may potentially acquire Activision and how it's going to affect his gamers. Like I said, Google is also voicing their concern over this. And Phil Spencer, the head of Microsoft, he's been saying nothing but really positive stuff, but it's also in a kind of a weird way. So let's go ahead and cover that. Phil Spencer has said that the Sony deal with Activision, even if Microsoft takes over Activision, is still going to go through until 2024, which means Sony will still have PlayStation exclusivity, which means PlayStation fans will get early access to the beta, maybe some exclusive game modes. Of course, we have the PlayStation, like that Oni skin or whatever that's going to be coming in Modern Warfare 2. Phil Spencer says they will honor that deal and Sony will continue to have their exclusivity, despite the fact that Microsoft may end up owning the franchise. He also claims that after that deal ends, that there will be no more exclusivity within the Call of Duty scene. We're not talking about Microsoft exclusivity, Sony exclusivity, Nintendo exclusivity, none of it, right? None of it is going to be part of the COD franchise should Microsoft take over, which sounds like really good news. As a gamer, as somebody who owns all the systems, as someone who just wants to play the game and not have big corporations punish the player base for picking the wrong piece of plastic to play their game on, that sounds like very good news. But at the same time, Microsoft has only guaranteed to Sony that should the deal go through and should Microsoft take over Activision Blizzard King, that Sony would even have Call of Duty releasing for its platform until 2027. That's as far as they've guaranteed. So if that does go through, there's a possibility that Microsoft will just have the exclusive rights to the COD franchise. And what's going to happen in 2027, you may be asking? Well, look at the time frame. That's right around the time that new consoles may potentially be coming out. The PS6 and the Xbox whatever XXX, right? Those things could be coming around that time. And if COD is an Xbox exclusive, well, that could potentially tip the scales in the console war pretty significantly, not to mention the fact that all those other franchises, which are mainly on PC, will still be owned by Microsoft. You guys know how Microsoft and PC work together. So, yeah, pretty interesting right there. It's a situation where they're worried that Microsoft is going to become too much of a monopoly, similar to how Microsoft used to be back in the day. Microsoft does tend to have a track record of doing stuff like this. So, we're going to have to wait and see how things are going to play out. But from a player perspective, it sounds good. Like, it really does. Like, Microsoft taking over COD does sound good because they're going to be ending the exclusivity and potentially doing other great things as well. But on the flip side of things, if for some reason they do decide in 2027 to just make it so COD does no longer come to the PlayStation, that would be terrible. They have said in their interviews that COD as an Xbox exclusive simply would not be profitable for them right now. There's millions and millions and millions of people that play on PlayStation. They'd be losing all of that, so they'd have to recoup that money somehow, and they're not sure how they would even do that. So they've said so far that COD is not just going to go straight to Microsoft and straight to Xbox all the time, but if they're only guaranteeing it until 2027, it's still kind of sketchy and things are still kind of up in the air. And the European Union Regulatory Group is taking a look at this, and they say they're going to be giving us an update on November 8th. So there you guys have it. I'm taking off my fedora there. I understood some of those words I said, but in reality, it's not that complicated. But when it comes to the ins and outs of acquisitions and mergers and things like that, like, dude, I play video games for a living. I'm not the, I'm not the forefront of my industry when it comes to understanding this stuff and breaking it down in a very succinct way. So I did my best. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed it. Leave your thoughts and feedback down there in the comments. And as always, as we learn more about Microsoft potentially taking over the entire COD series, I will keep you guys updated as more news and more information becomes available. But for right now, that's it for this video here today. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.